No los voy a dejar, espérate, no sé qué está pasando aquí, no los voy a dejar pegados ahí, no sé por qué el audio no se quiere escuchar, pero no los voy a dejar pegados ahí. Vámonos para acá, realmente no vamos a estar jugando ahora mismo, vamos a estar hablando un ratito, gente. Hoy es el feature premier número 2, storylines, obviamente se va a hablar de lo que anunciaron sobre Derek Jeter, storyline de Derek Jeter en particular. Vamos a estar esperando, vamos a estar viendo el stream en vivo aquí, vamos a estar reaccionando en vivo. No estoy grabando, de hecho. No sé si grabo, cómo grabo, no sé. Nada, espero que los que estén llegando por ahí, por favor, escriban en el chat. Estoy probando algo por acá. Quiero asegurarme de que el chat se está viendo. Déjame escribir algo en el chat. Prueba. Ahí se está viendo y se vio muy clarito. Dame un segundillo. Ahí estamos, cerramos esto. Así que todos los que estén llegando por ahí, por favor, les voy a pedir que escriban. Adrey, por aquí el papá de Ucho. Antonio, saludos, Adrey. Saludos, Antonio, saludos. Gente, tenemos algo interesante. Necesito que hagamos algo. Necesito que hagamos un ejercicio. Tengo algo nuevo. No se los puedo mostrar obviamente porque la cámara está ahí. Y es el prompter del gato. Se supone que eso me ayude a poder leer el chat y ustedes sientan que yo los estoy mirando. Esto cuenta como mirarlos. Esto cuenta como mirarlos. El Vini, es que siempre te conozco por Vini. So, si escribo con otro nombre, dímelo, Isra, dímelo. O sienten que estoy mirando para arriba. Yo estaba mirando y creo que estaba mirando para arriba, ¿no? Recuerden, en 25 minutos. Güey, ¿se frizó la computadora? ¿Se frizó la computadora? ¿Estamos bien? Por favor, escriban en el chat que estamos bien. Necesito saber que estamos arriba. Se frizó la computadora ahí de momento. Dímelo, Puma, que es la que hay, gente. Estamos live en YouTube y en Twitch. Y adentro, yo estoy viendo aquí, esto no se está viendo bien. Sí, pero se había frizado, se está frizando. Esto no me gusta. Déjenme un segundito, quiero asegurarme de que estamos. Permítanme un segundo, quiero asegurarme de que CPU, GPU, no hay nada grabando. Video. Permítanme un segundillo. Stream recordings, new. Esto no es ahora, esto es viejo. No se está grabando nada, por lo menos. Hoy ando bruto escribiendo. Gente, les quiero pedir, por favor, confírmenmelo. Esto les está contando como que los estoy viendo, como que los estoy leyendo, porque yo estoy lucido con el prompter. Gente, no vamos a tener, en verdad no vamos a tener gameplay, vamos a estar, dímelo, que es la que hay, papi. Vamos a estar viendo el stream en vivo. Vamos a estar viendo el stream en vivo, es en 23 minutos. ¿Estamos bien, Joshua? ¿Estamos bien? Sí, pero es a las 7 mío, por eso fue que dije 7, si me escucharon, por si acaso dije 7. Sí funciona, ok, está funcionando entonces. Joshua dice sí se ve bien y se ve como que está viendo, perfecto. Eso era todo lo que yo quería. Está funcionando lo más bien. Vienen un par de cosas. Podemos no lo voy a hacer. No lo voy a hacer. Pero pónganse las botas. ¿Está bien ahí? Eso está bien. Pónganse las botas. Que el 2024. Ojalá y digan algo más que Jeter. Para serte honesto, déjame ver si podemos ir por eso. Permítanme un segundo. Por favor. Si me envuelvo hablando, por favor, necesito que no me dejen, que no me duerma en las pajas. Acuérdenme a las 6:55, 6:50 que tenemos que irnos para allá. Permítanme un segundo, vámonos para aquí. Aquí está. Vamos para... Ellos tuvieron que haber posteado algo. Vamos a analizar un poquito. Ya esto hice un video y eso, pero por el hecho de que estamos aquí en vivo. Estamos live en YouTube y en Twitch, por si acaso. Variable Series Collection. No creo, no creo. Gente, ¿qué ustedes piensan? ¿Qué ustedes piensan de esto? A ver, se supone que salga por ahí el mensaje. Exacto. ¿Qué ustedes piensan de eso? Vamos por aquí rapidito. ¿Podemos ver esto? Esto no me afecta en YouTube. Sí, no me afecta en YouTube. Vamos a verlo, vamos a verlo, vamos a verlo. Esto que vamos a ver, de hecho, yo creo que podemos ver el video completo aquí. Este es el video completo. Vamos a verlo aquí en vivo. Ah, lo podemos ver aquí mismo, qué chulo. Ya yo reaccioné a esto en mis redes sociales, pero nunca lo hemos visto en vivo. Así que vamos a ver.
Derek Jeter. That's my favorite right there.
That's awesome.
Yep. That's from Game 4 of the Subway Series.
By the way, quiero aclarar algo. Yo no sé si ustedes se dieron cuenta, pero obviamente no fue así. Pero ahí, cuando él hace el swing, por alguna razón, me dio vibras de 2K. De NBA, de NBA 2K. De MLB 2K. Este momento. Ahí, eso que estoy viendo, eso te me olvidé el show, definitivamente. Pero me dio vibras de 2K. Ese swing, ese momento ahí me dio vibras de 2K. Vamos a seguir viendo.
Game 4 of the Subway Series.
Otra cosa en este video, no lo menciono porque son muchos detalles, pero Mike Piazza confirmado para MLB 2024.
The captain's career was defined by unbelievable.
Algo importante, yo dije, quiero ver a Jason Varitek. Jason Varitek es alguien de Boston que creo que nunca ha estado en el juego, excepto cuando estaba de Live Series. El catcher no se parece a Jason Varitek. Esto parece que es un jugador random, Joe Random. Dímelo, Gajen, dímelo. Un Joe Random. So, no sé. Deja ver qué cosa más importante. Algo curioso. Él llegó a usar el guante crema. Yo no soy fanático de Derek Jeter tanto como estoy seguro que alguien en el chat lo es. Pero él usaba guante crema. Yo creo que él no usaba guante crema. ¿Cómo que pero con agua sin agua, Drake? No entiendo. No, but Ahora did. Yo no sé. ¿Estás 100% seguro de eso, Pap? Corillo, ¿qué ustedes piensan de esto? ¿Qué ustedes piensan de eso? Dímelo, Saúl, dímelo. Eso que puso Pap. Not, but Ahora did. Como que él está diciendo que Derek Jeter no usó ese guante. Lo que me llegó a decir. Que Derek Jeter no usó ese guante, pero que Alex Rodríguez sí lo hizo. Vamos a seguir viendo acá. Saludos, Saúl, papi, saludos. Déjame ver si vemos aquí algo curioso. Solamente por curiosidad, vamos a hacer el ejercicio. Voy a hacerlo. Yo no sé si eso me da copyright o qué, pero vamos a ver. Jeter, shortstop, cut off. Aquí. Voy a quitarle la música. Voy a adelantarlo para hacer el ejercicio. Si podemos ver algo. No se ve bien, se ve bien borroso. ¿Alguien me puede decir cuál es el cuadro que estaba aquí en este momento de los Yankees? ¿Alguien me puede decir aquí quién era el cuadro que estaba en los Yankees? ¿Quién es este? No sé quién es ese. ¿Quién es este? Mike Teixeira. Dímelo, Joker, dímelo. Dice, lo más raro que la toma 90 del tercero. Eso sí es cierto. Entonces aquí, obviamente, está la jugada y qué sé yo. O sea, lo que trato de hacer con esto es lo siguiente, es ¿qué jugadores se supone que sean estos? Si es que parecen randoms, en verdad. Pero quién sabe.
He flipped the postseason script.
Porque ese se parece a Posada. Oh, en el 1988, Tino Martínez en primera. So, eso significa que Tino Martínez confirmado para mi hecho 2024. Significa que me olvidé el show. Adiós, Tino Martínez confirmado para mi show 2024. Chuck Noblon en segunda y Scott Brooks. No me interesa, ¿verdad? No parece como que algo interesante esos nombres. Gracias por la información. Aquí nos está compartiendo William quiénes son los jugadores que estaban en el cuadro. Ay, se me acaba la batería del headset. Qué cosa chula. Y el otro, Chuck Noblon en segunda y Scott Brooks en tercera. Y Posada de catcher. So, esos jugadores no son tan importantes, ¿o sí?
Or the time he added one more nickname to
¿Quién es ese catcher? Ese es este es de Arizona, ¿verdad?
his collection.
Mr. November. ¿Qué otra cosa vemos aquí interesante? De show, colores. No vemos nada aquí especial, ¿verdad? De show. De show. Esa camiseta se ve cool.
This year,
Esto va a estar bien interesante, en verdad.
storylines unlocks their
Yo les voy a ser honesto, yo creo que esto van a ser moments. Realmente, yo pienso que esto van a ser moments disfrazados de storylines. Que parece que va a ser un poquito más dinámico la manera en cómo vamos a tener los moments, pero esto va a ser al final del día moments. Que probablemente es una mejor manera de mostrarnos algo y de darnos contenido y dar historias de diferentes. O sea, no simplemente sacar un programa para desbloquear a que te malté, sino darnos un poquito de historia del jugador y conectarlo con las cosas que están pasando en la vida real.
Jeter's biggest
Suena algo bastante nítido. Dame un momentito, ¿y esto? Oh, ¿qué significarán estas estrellas? Estas estrellas me dan como una sensación de
this year.
que.
Storylines unlocks
Aquí, déjame ver. Dice aquí, tal y como extra decir. In this crucial run. Como que, ¿qué significará la estrella esa? Mira, aquí tiene 2 puntos para la estrella.
moments.
No enseñan más nada, y el guante y se acabó. No, hombre, se me acaba la batería del headset. No sé, estoy curioso de lo que va a pasar hoy con las cosas de storyline. Yo tengo esperanza de que van a traer la información de Road to the Show. No es algo. Ay, si no tienen batería ninguna de las dos. No es algo que a mí me interesa ultra brutal, pero es lo que hay.
To earn your captain.
Aquí yo traté de ver si veía algo interesante y no vi nada tampoco. Yankee, un catálogo de cartas, una tarjeta, esas tarjetas de béisbol. Medias no son tan críticas, es una bola filmada. Aquí dice New York con un banner. Eso es un bate negro, ese es de Jeter, obviamente. No hay nada que podamos pensar en
Stripes.
otra cosa. El control del PlayStation, obviamente.
Unlock history.
No veo nada ultra especial. Vamos a ver aquí, esto es información porquerita. Realmente, ¿qué ustedes piensan? ¿Qué ustedes esperan de los storylines? Realmente, eso creo que lo mejor que podemos hacer, esto no es. Mala mía. Lo más sensato que podemos pensar hacer, faltan 13 minutitos para el feature premiere. Lo más sensato que podemos hacer es pensar qué pensamos que es lo de storylines y qué queremos que sea. Son dos cosas distintas. Shane Spencer, el right field de los Yankees, que empezó a jugar. Te lo juro, Yocho, que yo nunca había escuchado ese nombre. Pura vida, el Helio, allá en Costa Rica, durísimo. Por si acaso, el Helio, yo no sé si yo te conté esto. Hace tiempo yo no estoy en stream. Y no sé si lo conté, pero en la high school, o sea, cuando estaba en grado 12, creo que fue, a mí me tocó hacer como un pabellón de cultura. Y a cada grupo, dentro del grupo, dividieron grupos como de 4, de 3. Le tocó un país para representarlo en un pabellón, comida, naturaleza, historia, con carteles y todo eso. Y me tocó Costa Rica. So, ahí fue donde yo aprendí que en Costa Rica se decía pura vida. Es lo mismo de Negrolix, eso pinta. Pues esa es la cosa. Que parece que van a reutilizar una estructura que probaron con lo de Negrolix y nos van a traer más contenido que podemos tener muchas sorpresas. Esa es la sensación que tengo. Esa es la sensación que me da, realmente. Vamos a tirarme un poquito para atrás. Vamos a estar chilling hoy. Vamos a estar viendo. Ya, entre George, ¿cuántos años tú tienes? Dímelo, Royal. ¿Qué es la que hay, papi? ¿Qué es la que hay? Pero que estés bien. Gente, soy yo. La cámara no está enfocando bien. Aquí la cámara enfoca bien. Porque es que siento que como tiene una pantallita al frente, me da una sensación de que no está enfocando bien. Dímelo, Pedro Pablo, dímelo. ¿Qué es la que hay, papi? ¿Qué es la que hay? Buenas noches, buenas noches. Correcto, no olviden dejar su like, no olviden dejar su like, no olviden dejar su like. No olviden dejar su like, no olviden dejar su like, importante, no olviden dejar su like. Los que nos están viendo en YouTube, obviamente los que nos están viendo en Twitch, si son nuevos, no olviden suscribirse. 41, tú estás desde los 13 años, no, de los 17 años allá. ¿De qué es el Feature Premier? Dice Jaisel. Va a ser de storylines. No sabemos los detalles. Y lo vamos a ver ahora. En 10 minutos empieza el Feature Premier y vamos a estar reaccionando en vivo. Así que vamos a... Yo quisiera grabar... Pero es que no me quiero arriesgar a que no he probado. Arroz con naranja. Arroz con naranja, saludos. Dímelo, Cuantri, dímelo. ¿Qué es la que hay, papi? ¿Qué es la que hay? ¿Estás ready para el 1824? Yo no sé. Yo les puedo decir algo. Tenemos 10 minutos para hablar de esto. ¿Soy yo o el hype del juego? No, o sea, yo tengo ganas de que venga que ya salga el juego. Pero no sé si es porque ya mi conocimiento en el juego aumentó y mi manera de jugarlo y eso, que ya el hype bajó un poquito. Y no necesariamente es porque no quiero, es porque estoy loco por... ¿Cómo se dice eso? Estoy loco por que me sorprenda lo nuevo que puede ser. Eso es lo que... Ya sé, papi, ya te contesté la pregunta de los storylines, papi. Ahora de los Dodgers, no lo vi. En verdad estaba trabajando y me acosté un ratito a descansar para poder prender el stream de hoy. Así que, vaya, esto se supone que se tiene que estar escuchando malísimo. Y ustedes no me dicen... Ah, no, se escucha bien, perfecto. Vamos, yo creo que es sensato que entremos ya al stream de MLB Show para ir esperando. Dímelo, DJ, dímelo. 8-0 en la primera entrada. A puro palo, me imagino, ¿verdad? Vamos para aquí. Sony San Diego Studio. Yo espero que esta música no me dé copyright. Si me da copyright, perdón, de verdad. No se supone que me dé copyright. By the way, se supone que hayan drops, ¿verdad? Se supone que hayan drops. ¿Saben qué? Voy a poner a grabar esto. Permítanme un segundo. No, se me está frizando. ¿Qué le pasa a esto? Encoding overload. Permítanme un segundo. Apagado. Permítanme un segundillo, querido. No están viendo nada, pero discúlpenme, esto es rapidito. Ahí está. Entonces, si yo le doy aquí, se supone que empieza a grabar los dos. Ahora podemos estar aquí. Ahora sí, voy para el chat, mala mía. ¡Ya, adiante! ¡Ya! ¡Ya! No vi el chat por un momento. Mira, no me deja subir. Gente, no me deja subir. No sé por qué. No me deja subir. No me deja subir. ¿Cómo yo subo? No me deja subir en el chat. Qué basura, nada. Los mensajes que estoy viendo aquí es Barry Bonds, A-Rod y Rafael Primero Canseco. Para los que compiten para 900 no hay tanto hype por el hecho de que es más de lo mismo. Maybe una comparativa versus tu récord de este año para compararte. Tratar de llegar al top. Sí, este año, para serte honesto, este año yo jugué casi nada de Ranked. Voy a ver si para 24 me enfoco un poquito más en jugar en Ranked. Es que a mí me aburre enfrentarme a los mismos pitchers. No me divierte. Realmente no me divierte. Entiendo que es desde la MVP Edition, entiendo. Abdielito, papi. Ahí está. Ese es Raulito, ¿verdad? Estoy aquí, si me convencen en comprarme, todavía es un no. Me quedo con la idea en Fortnite por el momento. Necesito comprarme un monitor. Bueno, en Discord te podemos ayudar a conseguir uno. Dimos arroz con China. Ahora es con China. Saludos, hola, saludos. Cualquier versión se supone que salga Jitter. No, entiendo que no, Raúl. Entiendo que está con los de Early Access. Entiendo. Lo podemos verificar después. Lo van a contestar ahora. Lo van a explicar ahora. Lo que pasa es que no es hype porque el game va a ser igual. El hype es para ver quién va a salir nuevo. Ya el año pasado salieron Sosa y Maguire. Vamos arriba. 2 minutitos, corillo. Vamos a ver qué es la que hay. Hombre, que no quiero pisar a Draco. Aquí estamos. Yo pienso que el toque final sería meterle a lo profundo. No creo. Realmente, para serte honesto, yo no me conformaría con que pongan narración en español. Estaría brutal, pero prefiero que el juego mejore y sigan añadiendo más contenido y más calidad al juego que ponerlo en español. Esa es buena, Rubén, en verdad. Yo me voy a retirar otro este año. Un minuto, Corillo. Vamos a ver qué es la que hay. Tengan una pista. Si el juego. Yo hice un video, Pablo, y por lo que entiendo, no viene en español. Lo que sí, la sensación que ha dado. Estas van a ser ya mis últimas palabras antes de que empecemos a verlo. Lo que sí, la sensación que tengo es de que el marketing ha hecho algo curioso este año. No se ha liqueado información. Se siente como una vibra de que no nos están dando todo. So, nos darán muchas cosas nuevas que no sabemos. Eso está bien spicy, gorillo. Dice aquí que hay un Shadowban, eso me gustaría. Yo pienso que los friendly quits en rank los deben quitar. Vamos arriba, gorillo. 18 segundos. Vamos al mambo. Lo mismo que habíamos visto antes. Enséñame, dame algo nuevo, vamos.
Welcome to another feature premiere for MLB The Show 24. I'm Colin from MLB The Show's development team here at San Diego Studios. Today, I'm excited to be joined by some truly amazing coworkers as we talk about the newly announced storylines featuring the captain himself, Derek Jeter. Over the next hour, we'll be covering all the bases on what makes this mode so compelling to play and the amount of effort and attention to detail to bring this mode to life. Like I said, we're going to be covering this mode for the next hour. We're going to be showing off some gameplay from the mode. We're going to be pulling the curtain back and talking to developers about the process of making storylines featuring Derek Jeter. And for all you Diamond Dynasty players, we'll be revealing some new legends. So grab a beverage and some snacks and get comfortable. And for those watching on Twitch, make sure you claim those drops for MLB The Show 24. And shout out to everyone who's live reacting on Twitch and YouTube for this feature premiere. We appreciate the passion. Before we go too far, if you haven't already, be sure to check out our first episode on Negro League Storyline Season 2 with special guest Bob.
Chequen ahora, mala mía, Corillo.
Where we talk about new players coming to MLB The Show 24, including Josh Gibson, Buck Leonard, Henry Aaron, and Tony Stone. So be sure to check that out on the San Diego Studios YouTube channel. But today, we're going to be talking about storylines featuring Derek Jeter. And I'm
Van a hablar una hora de esto.
narrative designer Jared Schiff. Jared, welcome back to another feature premiere. This might move you to a guest to a featured cast member. Thanks for taking the time again. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Let's save the idea of me being a cast member. Let's push that down the line till the game comes out and everything like that.
Good call. Good call. Awesome to hear from you, and thanks for taking the time to chat with us. So remind everyone what you do on MLB The Show.
So I'm a senior narrative game designer. I've kind of taken hold of the storylines mode. So now this year we've got Negro League Season 2, and we're talking about Derek Jeter today. So I'm kind of overseeing and approving a lot of things, and also coming up with like the moments that you play, as well as reviewing all of the video content that kind of helps tell the stories of these players as well.
Van a hablar
Sounds like a really
de
busy
storyline de
Yeah,
Derek Jeter.
this is a busy time of year.
Van a
but I
hablar con
think
los
I'm not the
developers.
only
Van a
one
hablar con los
that's,
developers.
pretty busy right now.
Quiero
That is
asegurarme.
true.
Van a hablar con los developers que trabajaron en el storyline. Puede que nos den insights de cómo funciona el juego. No lo sé. Vamos a ver cómo los ven. Vienen leyendas nuevas.
Highlighted the incredible players and accomplishments of those who played in the Negro Leagues. When did you and the rest of the team see this as a method for storytelling and teaching, and come together and start looking to potentially using a contemporary player from more modern times?
Yeah, I agree. Like I think you said it best. Like we were just
Pablo, en mi
all so
opinión, en
proud
Xbox.
of MLB The Show 23, and especially like the Negro Leagues presenting that. It just turned out. I'm just like super proud of it. And the great thing about baseball is that there are so many amazing and inspiring stories to tell, from Negro Leagues to Major League Baseball and beyond. There's so much history to the game, and there's a lot that we can reference and document to make sure we get things right, because stats have been around forever, especially when it comes to Major League Baseball. As far as like a contemporary
No, porque
player,
tienen,
I
Raulito,
think
tienen
we're just
que
looking to see like
asegurar la
what else we
información.
could do with storylines overall. And if there was a more modern player that we wanted to
Dímelo,
feature,
Frosty, no
we
creo,
could
no creo. Vamos a estar una
incorporate
hora
some more
aquí con
elements into our storytelling,
el
like
storyline.
film and video B-roll from their actual games, announcer calls that kind of help tell the stories as well, that we weren't necessarily able to do for the Negro Leagues. So like I said, just gives us a lot more tools to reference things as we're creating moments or writing scripts or recording commentary, which just sort of helps make the mode that much more immersive and entertaining for us and for the user.
Sounds awesome. So I'm sure there was a long list of potential candidates. There's truly some amazing players over the last 20, 30 years that everyone has their favorites. And I'm sure that they were some interesting meetings of who that player should be. But what was it about Derek Jeter that made him special to be the first player that we use for storylines?
I think, Derek Jeter is that dude. Throughout his career, he was the player that showed up and made the right plays when the lights were brightest and loved the pressure. And I mean, he's the captain, and whether you love him or rooted against him, you had to kind of respect his approach to the game and the way he played it, and just making the list and having that kind of total list of all those memorable moments that were in his career. It just felt like he was the right, and also like tying in the fact that he plays for like one of the most storied franchises in all sports. It felt like the right pick.
I mean, it is hard to argue with the accomplishments that Jeter had during his 20-year career and the type of plays. I mean, these are the plays that we see in highlight films and every year on
No creo,
various,
Raulito, no creo que sea
television
simplemente por
stations
eso.
and whatnot. But let's dig a little bit deeper. What separates the Jeter storyline from the storylines that we've had through the Negro Leagues, and what type of things are we focusing on with Derek Jeter?
Well, I think to answer your first question, Storylines has a mission statement overall, and you've heard myself and definitely Ramon.
O sea, como por ejemplo, pensar en expandir la audiencia y llegar a gente que no juegue el juego. Y educar a la gente que sí lo juega.
Storylines approach with whatever we're doing.
Mira.
I
Irónicamente, mira.
personally like to think Storylines is a hub where you can kind of experience different types of stories, but they're all approached with the same heart, care, and effort from our team and our entire studio, and that leads to some pretty memorable experiences for people who are playing the game. And we wanted to keep things unique and celebrate things differently, so Derek Jeter's storyline should, and it does, have a whole different visual look as far as videos and the UI experience, which I know we'll touch on later. With Derek Jeter's career, like I mentioned, we're not going way back in the past, so we're really able to use kind of the game clips and everything like that to jog people's memory before they play and sometimes after you play a moment, so you get a real feel for where you are in his career. And everyone's got that sort of sentimental brain where they can place
Pero aprendimos de eso, es lo que quiero decir.
something when it was happening, and you're going to play his whole career, including some like moments at the plate, but also some like defensive moments in the field, and it all starts with his first career hit in his second game of his career against the Mariners in the Kingdom.
Now, you're speaking my language here. I mean, we're talking about the Kingdom as a member of the Mariners fan club here at San Diego Studios with Drew.
Primer gameplay, ¿qué vemos aquí?
We're all really
Es un
excited
estadio
to hear
viejo.
that the Kingdom is coming back to MLB The Show.
Mira,
Before
estadio
we move a
nuevo.
little bit further with Jeter, are fans going to be able to play with the Kingdom in other modes within MLB The Show?
Yeah, we're bringing it back to life, and you can.
Es el estadio primero de los
the
Yankees.
Kingdom very early on in
Griffey
Derek Jeter's
confirmado.
storyline, and you can use that stadium in other modes for MLB The Show 24.
Mike Maguire
This made a
confirmado.
lot of
Randy
people
Johnson
in the Pacific
confirmado.
Northwest really happy to hear that. So, back to Jeter. I mean, we talked about the 20 incredible seasons, including 5 World Series championships. Can you give us any other hints about the moments that we'll be able to put in our fans in Derek Jeter's shoes?
Oh, de Seattle.
I don't want to
Mariano
spoil too
confirmado.
much, but if you know his career, you know what's going to be in there. And maybe some of the people that are playing don't know anything about it. But there's really some high stakes, memorable
Estas son
things,
cosas que pueden ver en el
that
Road to
are
the Show.
equal parts stressful and really cool and fun to play. And similar to we're doing for season 2 of Negro Leagues, if you just want to check out the whole story, you have that opportunity to skip moments as well if you just want to see like where his career goes. That being said, the moments are really, really fun. You'll also have the opportunity to play as the other 3 members of the core 4, which were
Ese no era Javi Baez.
Rivera, Jorge Posada, Andy Pettitte, and the core 4 were those 4 players that were a part of each one of those 5 World Series championships for the
Andy Pettitte,
So you're going to have some
confirmado.
opportunities to do some pitching and some hitting with other players besides just Derek Jeter. So it kind of makes it a whole well-rounded experience.
Andy Pettitte, confirmado.
And that being said, Andy Pettitte's a huge name, but you're also going to see some other legends pop up as well, and you'll have an opportunity to like earn their cards if you're into that as well.
I mean,
El tercera base no era
we've made a
Irrod, por
lot
si
of
acaso lo
Dynasty
vieron.
fans really excited to hear about some new legends, specifically
Benny quizá, vamos a ver.
somebody's getting on top of these incredible moments that people are going to be playing in Derek Jeter's shoes. So, Jared, let's take a second and talk about those legends again.
Vamos, vamos,
It's a
vamos.
pretty impressive list. What are some of the legends that you'll see in the mode?
Yeah, these are a lot of legends that were, a part of Derek Jeter's early career that you'll definitely see like right off the jump. Shilly Davis, Wade Boggs is another one that you'll see in there. And then, of course, like I said, like the core 4 teammates. So Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada,
And
and
Andy
Andy
Pettitte.
Pettitte, which is brand new. That's
Faltan
exciting
abajo,
one.
faltan ahí.
You'll also see Paul O'Neill.
Paul
in
O'Neill
there,
nuevo.
And Bernie Williams.
Bernie
So a
Williams.
lot of
¡Vamos!
Yankee
Yo espero que
fans
esto sea...
are
Sí.
definitely familiar with and probably really excited to see make their way into MLB The Show.
And so you'll be seeing some of these players in storylines, but then you'll also be
Wow,
able to
Bernie
unlock some of these
Williams.
cards through other modes such as
En
Diamond
fucking
Dynasty,
MLB
right?
The Show, vamos.
Yeah, that's I think we're spreading the wealth a little bit there. It's and then like maybe further on down the line in storylines you might see some different ones and some new ones. So we're trying to keep a little mystery to it as well. I'm pretty excited to see what people think.
Holding secrets. Our fans love it. Speculation. I can't wait to watch videos on everyone dreaming up who it could potentially be. So these moments that fans are going to be playing, how are we delivering it? Are we delivering it all in one swoop? Are we breaking them up into different segments and time frames? How's that all going to be delivered for the fans?
Yeah, we're taking a similar approach like we are with Negro League Season 2, like we announced in the previous chat. We're going to let you take your time, enjoy the content. As Bob Kendrick said, we're going to let it marinate. So at launch, you'll be able to play in Jeter's storyline from his first season in the Major League, so 1995, all the way through 2000. And it's only 5 years, just looking at it, but it covers a ton of memorable moments. And then if you're just like super antsy to play the second half of the storyline, so 2001 to 2014, you don't have to wait very long at all. I'm talking just like only a few weeks after launch.
Cool. I mean, it sounds like fans are going to have a lot of content.
No me
in that
gusta
first
eso.
Kind of like
No me
5 or
gusta.
6 weeks to really
Los
enjoy
storylines.
the Jeter storylines. Let's dig a little bit deeper
sí me gustan,
into
pero
some of the work that went into
no sé.
this, specifically the work that you put into this.
Déjame. Los storylines los van a dividir por moments, ¿verdad? Y los moments van a estar habilitados por ciertas semanas. Después van a desbloquear los próximos. Eso fue lo que yo entendí.
I mean, that
No
part's
sé.
a lot of fun. It really, this is the stuff that sort of brings me back to my
Sí, vení
sports
por
television
fin, mano,
like,
vení por
producing
fin.
days, where if you've got a topic or a player that you're doing a piece on, you just research them to prepare for like an interview or piecing together a story. Well, one of the things that's really funny is he finally told us like why he wore number 2. It's not like he picked that number. It was just like the smallest size uniform that was available, and I just loved that information. But then my big takeaway from it was I was super impressed and amazed by his approach throughout his career. He did not take a lot of time to do any celebrating, always sort of focusing on the next goal or the next season or the next series. It's super exhausting when you kind of say it like that. And he says in the video he had no regrets because he probably wouldn't have had the career he had without that mindset. And that was something I took away from, like, these stars, and they're all over different sports like that too. But these are they had to have a certain, in addition to being like a fantastic athlete, they had a certain style of preparation and a mindset and an approach that
Quedemos aquí.
really
Esto
made
contra
them
Boston.
shine.
Totally.
Eso-
I mean,
eso-
we hear it with some of those top tier players, just that mentality that puts them one step ahead of the other competitors. Now, with all the writing and all the work that went into this,
Esos son yo randoms.
we had the actual subway, and we built an actual subway car in the mocap stage. And with the movie magic, it looks incredible, and people will be able to see
Durísimo,
that
Oscar,
when they play
durísimo.
the mode for the first time. What was your first thought seeing that in reality? And also, what was it like sitting next to Derek Jeter during those recording sessions
Hey, Boston.
and talking with him as
Nada
well
nuevo.
as like reciting lines with him and stuff?
Yeah, the subway car was super cool. We wanted people that are experiencing the mode to kind of feel like they were in New York on the subway, hearing these stories, you know, like in his career. And you know, something cool that Jeter said as well was like that he stressed how much the fans really helped push him to never settle in his career. He said that's why he got along with them so well, which I loved. And what better way to kind of give a shout out to the fans, you know, than to have like his story told on the subway, because that's how fans sort of get to the Bronx. You know, you either taking the B, D, or 4 train. So to have that built for the storyline to kind of like,
No sé.
I mean, it turned out even
Esto-
better than I imagined.
Siete se ve bien
The
contento de
funniest
estar
thing
ahí.
was
Por eso
after
digo,
they
se
were
ve bien
done
aborrecido.
filming it,
Una. Y no creo que lo hayan hecho con
and,
muchas personas.
you know, they're talking about maybe
So, los storylines, maybe el de Derechita tiene más
disassembling it
cariño
or
y los otros
taking
son
it
un
apart
poquito
or
más
something like that.
tirados y están
Then
usando
I
este
came
para
in to
marketing.
do, the
Pero no creo que hayan
League League
cogido
Season 2
15
feature
peloteros,
premiere,
30 peloteros y
and
hayan
I
hecho
looked
esto
to the
con cada
side,
uno de
and
ellos.
right as we're getting into the room to shoot, it's right. The
Ahí
subway is
está
like
Collins,
still
míralo ahí.
intact and just a part of like San Diego studio now, which I think is just, it's the best. I love it. But then, like, to answer your second question, like sitting with Jeter, interviewing him, it was a blast. He's so quick-witted, and his answers were really thoughtful. They were really thought out. So, you know, as a video producer or somebody scripting content, it's like Christmas, because you have so much good stuff to work with and to put this together the way that you want it, and kind of hearing how he felt about certain moments in his career all the way through.
Now, I mean, you do have the history of working at the network and stuff, and meeting athletes. It's probably not new to you, kind of a thing. But what was it really like meeting Derek Jeter? On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous were you?
I think as a fan of baseball and of the Yankees, it was a 10. It was exciting. I think, you know, when you put your work hat on and everything like that, you get that adrenaline rush of asking questions, and then you get some of those great answers in return. You get goosebumps because you're like, oh man, this is really going to be, that's exactly what I wanted him to say, sort of thing. So, you know, knowing you have a really great story to tell, I could tell right away that he was as interested as we were in getting his story told right, and, you know, getting it done in a really entertaining way.
Yeah, I mean, I know
Oh,
even
see.
in the studio, we have athletes that come in a lot of the time and we
Storylines.
give them tours or we have them play the game and stuff. But I know, at least for me personally, growing up being a Ken Griffey Jr. fan, I kind of stuttered. I had no idea what to do. So I can totally relate of being a little starstruck. So before we go and before we talk with some of the other people that worked on this mode, what are you hoping that fans learn about Derek Jeter that they might not have known before playing storylines?
Yeah, I think, you know, as like I talked about before, like his approach is super interesting. And even when he's like breaking these Yankee records that have stood forever, he didn't let it soak in until very recently. You know, now he's got like a much more, a greater appreciation for what he did in his career. Being that reflective, I think, you know, just he's just a very good storyteller. On the Negro League side, of course, we have Bob Kendrick, who is maybe the best storyteller I've ever met in my life. So hearing kind of storytelling from a athlete's point of view, and a Hall of Famer at that, I think is something, you know.
Si tienen alguna duda,
baseball
no
fans
olviden escribirlo en
general
el
just feel
chat.
like, as a baseball fan, I feel like this is everything you want from a more modern legend in storylines. You're hearing from the athlete, you're getting kind of those snippets of video and B-roll, and history.
Gente, no sé
and
si
then
se dieron
getting to play
cuenta.
and relive those
El
moments that
uniforme
made
que él
the
tenía
career
puesto era el
special.
24.
Like I said
Él es
before,
el
there's
2,
just like
¿verdad?
so much love
Hoy
and
es 2,
care
22,
in every
24.
aspect of this mode, from presentations to
Detalles.
commentary to our incredible UI. I think we've got a lot of things that fans of the game and fans of baseball are really going to enjoy.
For sure. I mean, I snuck into the Jeter session, and he was just radiating a certain level of focus and attention to detail. And I know that everyone on the team took that same attention to detail to make the incredible mode of Jeter storylines. Thanks, Jared.
All right, thanks, Colin.
Jared will be back with us in a bit.
Ok.
But Storylines with Derek Jeter was a team effort with some truly incredible work, providing an amazing experience and a level of detail that every fan of Derek Jeter and fans of baseball in general would really appreciate. From the environment team, character team, audio, graphics, commentary, presentation, and user interface. The team designing the user experience and interface really felt that they could help amplify the stories that we're trying to share with storylines featuring Derek Jeter. And their work is pretty darn cool. We're going to slow down for a couple minutes and introduce you to some from the UI UX team and learn about their processes and their workflows. So hold tight for a little as more gameplay and reveals are coming. I'm happy to be joined by Otis, Ashley, and Ephraim from our UI and UX team. Ashley, thanks for taking the time to join us. How are you doing? And tell everyone watching what you do here at San Diego Studios.
Hey, thank you for having us all, first of all. I'm doing pretty good. I'm an artist here at San Diego Studios, user interface artist to be specific. What I work on is pretty much everything that you see in the front end, that anything visual, whether it's backgrounds or buttons or animations, logos, anything that needs to be designed artistically, me and a couple of other artists do.
Awesome. Ephraim, thanks for taking the time as well. Could you tell people what you do on the team here at SDS?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the invite. Super happy to be here. I'm a user experience
Ese es de nosotros, latino.
So basically, I take all the amazing designs that the designers put together and all the wonderful art that Ashley and the team create and make them work in game, so users can actually see
se ve duro, en verdad le
and
quedó muy duro.
interact with all the amazing UI work that we planned and we execute.
Excellent. Otis, great to have you join us as well. Same question to you. What do you do here at SDS?
So I'm a senior staff UX designer here. So my job is to figure out what will be the best experience for users, how to create something that they can use that will be intuitive and fun, and to plan that whole thing out.
Hombre, que hace frío.
That whole thing out, and then hopefully work with Ash and the other artists to make it real and into the game.
Cool. Let's take a second to actually talk about that process a little bit. As we have user experience, we have user interface, we have technical design, all in this talking together. How does that overlap work with each of your skills? I'm sure that a lot of you share some of the same skills, but some of you have specific ones. What's the loop like of working as a team together?
What's really great at SDS is we are really collaboration focused. And so for everything that you see in the game, no matter what it is, you can imagine that has passed the hands of many people before it, got to you. And so even something down to a simple line of text goes through a process before it gets to you. That's the type of care that we have for everything. So for our process, our specific loop is actually fairly simple. UX and game designers, system designers, we work together to create an idea. We work together to create the workings of what would be really great for users. So for an example, there's a Metro card in the Jeter feature that we wanted to create as sort of the entryway into the mode. But at first, that started off as an old vintage style video game cartridge because we wanted to be really nostalgic, and that's where I started off. Is I really wanted it to feel like it was something that was created in the 90s. And throughout iteration process, it moved from that to it being a movie ticket because storylines and going to the movies, and so we thought that would be really cool. really fun. But then from there, we landed on a Metro card because of New York, you know, taking the subway. And so once got to that point where I knew that that's what we wanted to use, then we pull in Ashley, we pull in the art side because we need to know what users actually see in the game. We have the idea, we know where it's going to go, we know how it works, and so we hand it off. And then it gets to Ash's team and
Por si acaso, no estoy hablando mucho aquí porque lo estoy dejando hablar. Él está hablando de cómo ellos, cómo es el proceso para que los cambios en el interfaz se hagan.
It's a really tough job of figuring out how to put that into the front end, put that into the game so a user can actually see it. And so it's actually a really interesting way that we make the donuts over on our side, but it's fairly simple at the same time.
It sounds like you all work together extremely well, but let's go back a little bit to just how personal this is, having spoke with both Otis and Ashley, and both of you have spent time and lived in New York before, so this is additionally special. What was it like working on Jeter's storylines and being personally involved with it?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Kind of like a dream come true, to be honest. I grew up on Long Island, and so you got Yankees fans, and then you've got Mets fans, and I always feel bad for those guys, but you know, it's what it is. But growing up in New York, and I mean, from I'd say 1998 until 2012 were probably the years that I paid the most attention. I knew all the batting stances from every player, and when they get up to bat, I would mimic their stances and pretend like I was the one who was hitting the ball. So getting to work on this,
No hay nada nuevo aquí, ¿verdad?
young Ashley would have been so stoked. It was a lot of fun. And then working with Otis, who's there now, it was like a creative jam. He's very humble about sharing and all this, but Otis is very creative and pays a lot of attention to detail. So it was a lot of fun to pair my memories of being a young Yankee fan who absolutely adored Derek Jeter with Otis, who is extremely creative, living in the city right now and getting to just kind of throw ideas together. And I think we kind of created New York in an MLB The Show way, which was a lot of fun. So it was a very cool project.
Cool, awesome. And Otis, what was it like?
Es que eso yo creo que
living in
depende
there
del
now
del
and
moment
being
que
able
estés
to bring
haciendo.
that attention to detail to the game?
It was like halfway exciting and halfway a little daunting.
Lo de los
right?
picheos se veía
Because
diferente, ¿verdad?
That's a lot. As you're standing on the shoulders of giants, many games have
No creo, no están dando nada
recreated
interno.
their version of New York in such an incredible way.
Honestamente, no están
So
hablando
for us
nada
to
interno.
take a stab at a version of that for MLB The Show is a huge responsibility that we have. Being a New Yorker is a huge responsibility in itself, I guess. And so there's a lot that went into making sure that we highlighted areas that felt the most thoughtful and left the other areas where we couldn't do that alone. I think that was a really big portion of what made our design choices really smart from that regard. But it was just super cool. I mean, what can I say? I live in the best city on the planet, period. Like we could just say that. And so to be able to have the opportunity to work with a team that was all in on us creating some version of that because of Derek Jeter, because of the man, and being able to literally put everything that we had.
No veo nada
that we were making a statement
que me dé
of it.
información.
It was really awesome. I can't say enough how
Ese es Jorge Posada, supuestamente.
working on this was. No matter how many times we mentioned it, it was just such an honor to work on it with everyone. And hopefully, when others see it, they can see.
Sigan, ellos están hablando de que sí, que tienen una conexión personal.
It's New York, but sponsored by MLB The Show. So we'll see how that works.
This all sounds incredible. And
Sí, yo pienso que sí, Joshua.
Otis,
Mientras
I'll say
va
right now, having
pasando los
played
episodios.
Jeter storylines,
Vamos a ver.
that you make all New Yorkers proud with the attention to detail that you put into it this year.
Storyline.
And it's a true labor of love. And the
De
first thing
Neroli,
that jumped out at me when I'm
solamente hay dos
playing
ahora
through the
mismo, ¿ves?
mode was the level of detail that we've talked about it, and the detail that comes through talking to you now. So one of the areas that really just jumps out
Los de
is
Negro
the
League y de
subway.
Jeter ahora mismo.
In the subway concept and how that became a reality. What was the reasoning of picking the subway to use that as the mechanism
menú se ve demasiado,
to
Rubén.
convey New York to our players? And how did it come from
Hacho, en verdad,
concept to
uy, el
actually
hype
being
está subiendo.
done?
No sé
Otis,
qué,
like, give us an
no sé
insight
qué
on that.
hacer. El hype se siente.
Well, I feel like, you know, we have to call out a few members who aren't on this call. Jared.
Daddy,
who's the
bienvenido,
UX
bienvenido.
designer on a specific feature. The team kind of came with the idea of the subway sort of in hand. How we were going to do
Para los que no
that,
sepan,
or how
estamos
we
live
were
en
gonna
YouTube
represent that
y en Twitch.
in
Vamos rumbo a los 15,000 suscriptores
but
en
I
Twitch.
remember the,
Adiós, en
the
YouTube, perdón.
sketch
Así que por
from
favor,
the design team was,
nuevo.
a white
Get a
sheet
beat in.
paper with a line for the subway with a few notes on it. And that was sort of our jumping off point. We knew, and I think Ash and I have actually talked about it before because there are hints of it and, you know, hints
Esto,
of Jeter maybe,
yo no sé
and we're
ustedes,
thinking
pero
that,
mucha gente lo va a
well,
skipear simplemente
that
para
actually
jugar.
happens, you know what we're gonna do? Like it's gonna be crazy. And so
Vamos a ver, Gam, vamos a ver cómo hacen.
that sketch. And so I had, strangely enough, a year ago when we were talking with the storylines team about bringing, you know, Negro Leagues into the game. Some of my earlier sketches there had a Super Mario World map because we were thinking of ideas around different ways to navigate, and so something to keep it nostalgic. And so that was always in the back of my mind. And when this came up and we had the idea of the subway,
En verdad, yo que no
I
seguí
wanted it
tanto a
to
Derek
feel
Jeter, esto me va a
diegetic
entretener
and
bastante, en
possible.
verdad.
And so you'll notice that as soon as you start the Jeter feature, you're walking down the subway, you're in the subway, it feels
Exacto,
like you're
Raulito,
actually
exacto.
there. That was a huge choice because we wanted it to feel like you have escaped the show as you knew it. You have literally gone through a portal and now you're in a completely different landscape. And so that's sort of where it started. And we really wanted to find a way to give you that sense of a little bit of waiting, a little bit of grit and juice, because New York has that sense about it. It's been worn, it's been lived in, it's constantly being lived in. We wanted you to feel like you were part of that.
Vamos a ver, Dario,
From
vamos a
the
ver. Estas
sound,
cosas
from
pueden ser que
the light
impacten el
flickering,
Road to
and
the
we
Show.
definitely wanted it to
Ese
feel
parque se ve
like you were
chulo, en
into
verdad.
a new,
Se ve muy
every
lindo.
single time you completed milestones. So which is
Marty,
why
eso es lo que yo estaba pensando,
every year
loco, pero no lo
has a
puedo decir
completely
porque es que tiene que pasar. Como que cuando pase, pues.
done by Ash, done by the team. We wanted to gift you things just like you would
Mira,
get
nos van a dar
if you went to the
stops
subway in New York.
y experiencia.
And
Qué
all of a sudden,
nítido
the
eso,
mural that you
mira.
didn't see 2 days ago. Where'd that come from? Who did that? I think that type
Y
of joy
para la manera de
as a
cambiar
New
los
Yorker
moments
means
rápido, qué
there's always
chulería.
someone willing to make their mark every single place. Someone wants to carve
No.
and create a space for our
Ay.
team to really flex and do that on a much grander scale.
Sí, Joshua,
They
sí.
killed it.
Awesome. I mean, the attention to detail is pretty
You know,
incredible
Martínez también,
that
William.
the team has achieved with this. And the subway, the
Yo no lo
first
había
time I
visto, te
played
lo
it
juro
was
que yo no lo
pretty
había visto. Y si
incredible.
lo vi ni me
But
acordaba.
going from concepting to actually working in game, like Ephraim, you put in some amazing work into the stuff that you did. Tell us a
Sí,
little bit more.
Rubén, sí.
What was it like hearing these requests and these concepts, and what it took from your side to actually make this stuff a reality?
Yeah, so I can begin saying that this was the biggest technical challenge I've had since working on MLB The Show. I joined the team and I started seeing these amazing designs and hearing all these great ideas, and I started feeling the pressure of like, if I can't put this together, like none of this
pues
great stuff
Canseco
we're
podría
talking
salir.
about is gonna make it to the players. So even though like at the beginning I was a little bit nervous, I took it as a personal challenge and it's like, we're gonna make this work. And we started our research, we started doing a bunch of prototypes, and every time we got like one tiny bit working, I was super excited, sharing it with everyone. Everyone was super happy. It's like, we're getting there. First we worked on the subway portion itself. We got that working with the amazing art that Ashley was making, and like I was super happy about it. But then the big thing was the map itself. I know that we wanted to recreate that retro game type of map that people have played before, navigated before in other games, but we'd never done anything like that in our game. So that was also a challenge, but I really wanted to make it work. And at the end, like trying a bunch of stuff, again, like a lot of prototyping, a lot of trial and error. We got it working. We got that smaller navigations integrated with the big one, like the full big map. And
Qué chulo
we
eso.
got the
Es
entire
el mapa de New
feel that
York.
we were looking for in our feature working in the game. And I think that that was a super exciting day when we finally like put everything together, and everyone else was able to go in there and test it and like hearing the feedback. And I think we did an amazing job. I think it exceeded our expectations in terms of like the technical side of what we thought we could achieve and what we actually
El
ended up
sueño
with.
del...
So I think everyone's super happy.
It truly is really impressive what you all put together. And before we go too far, Ash, what was it like the first time of you having the control in your hand and actually like, it's one to have it conceptualized and see it in Figma and other tools and stuff, but one to have your controller in the hand and like navigating around. What was that feeling like of seeing your art come to life?
Oh, that was cool. I wanted to screen record the whole thing. I was like, this is awesome. And even though I'm like, I could just play it again. I don't know why I feel like I need to record this, but it is really cool. My previous experience on other games in the past, we used to make these little maps, and this was just that on, a whole nother level where we're making a world basically filled with miniature maps, and so it was really, really exciting. More than anything, I'm looking forward to seeing what my brother has to say about it. I haven't given him any hints or anything yet, so that'll be when I really know.
Awesome. I mean, having played through some of Cheater storylines, the old school influences are clear and the overworld navigation is incredibly awesome as someone who is more of an elder gamer at this point and touching some of those strings of my past gaming years as a kid and stuff. But let's move over to Easter eggs. I mean, we talked about how passionate this is for all of you and to add things in. And what are some Easter eggs that only a New Yorker might pick up on without spoiling anything? Like, what are some of these things that you all threw in there that either is really interesting or something that only you would brought in the table or something that you wanted to add yourself to put your fingerprint on this mode even further? Ash, let's start out with you.
Oh gosh. I mean, there's a lot of graffiti art that we did in each chapter screen. And in those little, what looked like, graffiti doodles, someone might have gone in there with a Sharpie and wrote on the tiles. There's just a whole bunch of stuff in there. I think if you're a New Yorker and then if you've been a Yankee fan for, I don't know, 10 to 20 years, you're definitely going to see some things. We put a bunch of stuff, like there's some illustrations in there that Otis actually gave to us as well, that include New York City's mascot, which is a pigeon. There's some other things. You gotta have to find him, but he's in there. Some nods to good cuisine choices in the city as well. But also one of the things that I like as a Yankee fan, there were a couple of little broadcast sentences that we sprinkled into the art from games that were specific to that year or moments that were specific to something that Jeter did that got a huge reaction out of the announcers. So it'll be cool for users to kind of dig through that artwork a little bit and see if they can remember the moment when that actually happened.
Awesome. Everett, how about you? Was there anything that you put into this of your own desire or putting your finger?
No vi nada ahí.
So I was more on the support side in terms of like those, but especially on the subway, people are gonna like notice that, oh, this looks like a real subway. They will see like all the details. They will see like even the tiniest stuff, like even the, I don't know, the dirt on the wall is like, oh, it looks like a real subway wall or something like that. We have talked about adding, a few extra things. Some of them made it. Some of them were lost along the way. It will live forever in our hearts. But it was a super entertaining journey, deciding everything that went into the map, and I know users will love it.
I'm sure every developer can relate of the dead things in source control, but Otis, how about for you? As the native New Yorker who probably has the most like on the pulse feel, what are some of the things that you potentially added or potentially even snuck in there as well without spoiling too much?
Things that added or snuck in. I mean, I think you know, I'm gonna be weird and nerdy about it because I have two things. One, I think, is the speed. I think for me, it's the minutia. You land in New York. You haven't been there before. You land in New York. As soon as you get out of the airport, the city kind of sweeps you away. You're like on a weird conveyor belt or Aladdin's magic carpet. Like it's uncontrollable that your foot speed of moving around just on Earth will change just because the city itself has such an energy about it. So that was one of the things that we really want to get in is how do we create a sense of movement throughout this experience? That would be really cool. But aside from that, all the Easter eggs for me are in the sound, in the audio. So if you play the show with your sound off, I really highly suggest you turn it up. There's so many there's small peripheral things that New Yorkers just know. Like I know if I take my headphones off right now, I'm gonna hear either jackhammering, because we're always building here, or there's gonna be some ambulance or buses going by. Like the city is alive constantly, and so we wanted to make sure that
puede que sí, Luis, pero puede que no también, porque realmente
you'll hear the train conductor saying something that's
no sé exactamente cuáles son las cosas.
That is unique to New York because it is never audible.
Esquina, especialmente cuando no sé qué esperar. Eso sí.
That's intentional. There is the sound of the little that the subway doors make when they're opening and closing. You'll hear that. It'll be for like a split second, but you'll hear it. All those little things, we really wanted to gift users so they get a little sense. Like these are some of the things that you may have experienced if you're going to CG to play. You may have this was what your life would have been like. This would have been the journey, unless you took a cab. But then you still would have got some of these things because once you get to the map, you can hear the city. You can hear ambulances. You can see it. You can hear other cars moving by. You get a sense of what it's like if you close your eyes and just imagine. This is you going to see Jeter, or in our case, this is you hanging out with him as he takes you on a little carriage ride through some of his experiences. It's actually pretty cool.
So you hear it there first, fans. Make sure you play with the sound on.
Sound
you're not getting the full experience. But the thing I'm really feeling here is the desire to represent and highlight Derek Jeter, and specifically New York City. As having just played it last week and stuff, and really seeing it come together in its near final form, is all the detail. And one thing that jumped out to me was the dot matrix subway sign after you finish a moment. I got a huge smile when playing it. What was the favorite thing in the mode right now that you all love? Like Otis, what is the one thing that jumps out to you that you're just like, I love this?
Ooh, oh man, that's so hard. There's so many things about it.
All of it is an appropriate answer as well. So
first off, it's always all of it because this entire thing is such a love letter from us that I love it all from beginning to end. As soon as you select the storyline's tile until you decide to leave, everything that you get in there, I think, has just been so incredibly crafted. I'm gonna steal one of Ash's, which she may say, but I'm gonna steal it anyway. It's the avatar, the little flippy hat, his cap. We went through a few different ideas about what that thing would be, and in our prototyping mocks, it was just a little circle with the 2 in it. But we knew we wanted it to be something special. Had no idea that would end up being this flippy cap. That wasn't even from at least the UX side. That wasn't one of our ideas. It was really the brainchild of Ash, and she had a few different options for how this thing could flip and move, and it was just so fun. It was that thing that was missing from the map that really super transported you to that vintage overworld style experience. I think that combined with the diegetic nature of the subway line going through the different chapters and being able to select the treatment there, and Efrain kind of touched on it a little bit, but there's more that we wanted to do there to give you even more of a sense there. But what we were able to deliver is unbelievable. Like the amount of custom artwork that went into an experience like this, especially there, is unbelievable. And so I think that's probably my favorite part, is that we literally have how many 12ers? You have so many different pieces of unique art that we created just for this. That could be wallpapers on your wall, that could be desktop images. Like we created this really incredible artwork. So I think that's probably my favorite piece. Is we create a little MoMA moment in Jeter. Like it really is like you're walking through, like it's just like beautiful pieces of art everywhere. It's incredible, and it's all centered around.
La carta de Andy Petit, qué chula.
I think we did it justice, and then some. It's awesome.
You just continue to drop more New Yorker knowledge on all of us. Ash, how about you? What's one of the things that you're really proud about?
Oh gosh, I mean, similar to what Otis said, the whole thing was. I mean, we were deep in this one where we just worked on every little detail, from highlighting where we're from to hitting on the moments. That really brought back that little, like, I don't know, raises the hair on your arms a little bit when you think about the good old days as a Yankees fan, and watching them win. And so I just think getting to work on it, honestly, was the most fun. And one of the highlights I'll say, this is going to sound so minor, but Otis and I one morning, so we work on the East Coast, and most of our team, actually, so do you, Efrain, but most of our team works on the West Coast. So we're on earlier in the morning, and one day we were just working on something as simple as what's going to happen when a user has hit the end of the platform and they have to go up or down the stairs. And so Otis and I were just talking one morning, and I didn't have the tech to explain to him what I was trying to say. But he knew, being from New York, that you're moving real fast. You're not really paying attention. You're definitely not reading all the signs. But you get to a point where you're going to turn and you're going to go up or downstairs real fast. And so I took Post-its and put them along my walls and took my phone camera and rotated it to show him what I was trying to describe. And it just blew everything open. We got our 3D artist, Matt, who's absolutely incredible. He understood it. Otis got it. I got it. And from there, we went from what was going to be really another slide to becoming an experience moment where anybody who's taken the train before is going to know, oh yeah, like I've definitely been there. I've seen the goo on that step before. I know what it looks like to turn and go up to the light or down into the platform darkness. So that was just a really cool experience to try to recreate something that we've all actually done. And that wasn't totally fiction, which was really cool.
Cool. And Efrain, how about you? What is the one thing, what's your favorite thing about Jeter Storylines?
Yeah, I think from a user slash player perspective, I think the most impressive part is going to be the map and how you got the small navigations with the flippy cap going to the individual moments, but then, you go to the next chapter and like everything moves, everything changes. And you have like really huge map that we built. Like it was insane how big it was with all the details and how we were able to do all the technical work.
Esto tiene un montón de episodios.
And actually,
tiene como 9 episodios, ¿verdad?
What we wanted it to do.
Son muchos episodios.
Then, from the developer side of things, one thing I really liked about this feature is that everything was made from scratch. Like, I don't think there's a single piece of UI that we are reusing from the rest of the show. Everything was made brand new.
Wow.
I know Ash had a lot of work creating all these art pieces, but like we built an entire new world, if we can call it like that. It's a completely different experience, and I think it will make everyone happy and refreshed when they go and see something completely different from what they're seeing in the rest of the game.
I mean, you guys really did give people a ticket to get on the subway to the Bronx and stuff. So
en verdad apretaron con el interfaz gráfico.
Bringing Jared back into the mix. Jared, what was your first reaction seeing some of this stuff become reality? I'm sure you were in meetings and heard about some of these things, but getting the control in your hand for the first time and seeing a lot of these things, conceptualizations, become real and actually have tangible play on it.
Yeah, as we're brainstorming and talking through ideas, we landed on the concept with the subway, with the train relatively early. And kind of once we got like the sign off, like the blessing on it, I didn't really have like a doubt in my mind that it was going to look like amazing. I will say that I didn't realize how like freaking amazing and detailed it was going to look. It's been kind of said before too, you know, it doesn't look like anything else in the game, and I think that it shouldn't, and I think that it
¿Vieron el
makes
lineup?
it similar to kind of
Estaba
how
Bernie
we
Williams
have
en el
done things
lineup,
with the Negro Leagues.
pero no había de Rodríguez.
Everything should feel like a celebration in storylines, because
So, a lo mejor no estaba en el equipo, pero no estaba ahí
about.
también.
And it feels like as soon as you kind of, you know, you enter the mode, you use the metro, you know, the card ticket to get into the mode, and then, you know, that intro video plays, and it's really fast, and you're immediately like thrown onto the subway. It all kind of has this energy to it that makes it really super special. There's like so much character and detail and creativity in literally every pixel of this thing. It's the coolest thing I've worked on.
This all sounds incredible. I'm sure fans will be really excited about, but what do you hope that fans will take away while playing Jeter Storylines? Jared, how about you?
Yeah, unique New York, the tongue twister, right? It feels like such a unique experience with such a cool story, and I hope that fans of baseball, and not just Yankee fans or Jeter fans, get a better sense of the kind of player he was, and the fact that he was having all of this success on the biggest stage in the game, in one of the biggest cities in the world, and the greatest city in the world, New York. And as the captain for like one of, like I said, like one of those like truly prolific teams in sports. So like, I hope they really kind of just appreciate how we've kind of featured his mindset, his approach, and just an overall appreciation for like the type of player that he was.
Awesome. Efrain, how about you? What is something that you hope fans take away from playing?
I think I can say, like, I can divide it in two. I can say, like, for existing fans, giving them the opportunity to go through those moments they know so well, or they like watch, or they're in the games and now they're able to play it like in a video game form and relive them and make them, you know, their own story. And then for the new fans, giving them a chance to learn about these moments, to be able to play them at the same time, sharing that MLB knowledge of like great moments and great stuff that has happened, which is what we're trying to do with all of our storyline modes. So, yeah.
Cool. Ash, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, similar to what the guys have said, it's just
hitting
going
with
to
other
be
players
a totally
beside.
new experience, something that I'm not really too sure. I'm not too sure many sports games have gone this far in the effort to tell the story. And I don't mean that to boast on us or anything. It's just there was a lot of passion that went into it. I think it shows. And so I'm just excited for fans to get to experience that, whether you're from New York or you're from Boston, you know, whatever. I think even a Red Sox fan might get a little bit of fun out of this. And, you know, I mean, I could safely say, even if this was, you know, about David Ortiz or somebody like that, just the amount of detail that goes into it, you kind of feel like you're home again. You're back in the city and, you know, thinking about the good old days. And so I'm just excited for people to get a chance to interact with that, tell a story a different way.
Cool. And rounding it out, Otis, how about yourself? What are you hoping that fans take away from playing?
I hope that they understand that there's a intense amount of respect and care we have for storytelling.
Me la están hablando mucho.
I think that's something that makes us unique in the landscape of what we do and what we make.
Pero todavía falta gameplay y reveals y leyendas. So vamos a ver.
Making sure you understand these individuals that we're highlighting. We make sure that we are making sure that you understand just the amount of impact as much as we can, the impact that they've had in the landscape of baseball. I hope that fans, when they first select the Metro card and they enter into the subway, then they move through and they get to the map, I hope they stop and say, holy shit, like they really care. They really wanted us to have an experience that said something that could be timeless, that really represented such a monument of an athletic figure in the world forever. There will never be another human person like Derek Jeter ever in existence. I hope they take away that we know that, we understand that, and that we wanted to tell a story in such a high quality way that really does feel like a departure from anything else that we've ever done. I hope that they take that away from it and see that we wanted to give them something special, give them something unique, and make them understand that we're telling real stories and we have a very unique way of doing that. And this is only the beginning of how we're going to do it.
Awesome. I mean, it's clear the respect and reverence that you had for New York and for Derek Jeter over his 20-year Hall of Famer career is incredible across the board. Before we go, is there anyone that you would like to thank as part of the development team or outward? Otis, anyone on the list?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of like an Oscar speech, right? Like, gonna thank everybody.
Eso decía yo.
The music's already playing though, but no.
God. I really want to give a shout out to those of the team who had their hands in this with us, but aren't on this call. Matt Latoyer, Moira, Jordan Pitts. I mean, there's so many of us that were involved in really pushing to make this experience as unique as it can. And really giving everything that we can to it. I know that everyone on this call has spent extra hours making sure that we're able to get just one extra thing in that isn't necessarily needed, but we know someone out there in the world is going to see it and smile a little bit, so we do it for them. Not everyone's going to understand what we put into this, but there are members of this team that are on this call who also put a lot of their blood, sweat, and tears in this. So I hope everyone realizes it's not just us. Like, we are the representatives of huge portions of this, but a lot of the team went to bat to make sure that we were.
Sí, van a enseñar más gameplay.
Also, shout out to the studio, to SDS, for trusting us to do this, trusting us to take a swing like this, because, you know, it could have went many other ways. You see the rest of the game. We had many other ways we could have done this, and to a Frame's point, we didn't use anything. So to trust us to deliver something new and unique is a huge shout out to leadership and, you know, the trust that they have in our team to create something awesome.
Cool. Efrain, how about yourself? Anyone you want to give a shout out towards?
Yeah, like same as always, the team. I could have not asked for a better team to work on, like on this feature. The amazing communication that we had, like every single day, sharing what was happening, sharing ideas, fixing things that, oh, this is not working, how we fix it, and like putting our old minds together to make it work. Working with Otis and Ashley was amazing. You know, just seeing and taking a peek into their brain and how they work and the amazing things that they come up with. That was really great. I want to say big thanks to our software engineer, Alec, who, as we are talking to you, is actually in the feature, adding stuff, fixing stuff, moving stuff, making it great. So he's been like an amazing engineer, and you know, everything works because like he was doing his magic behind the scenes. So big thank you to him. Everyone else in the team, like if we're gonna say all the names, I'm gonna forget one, and then other people are gonna be sad. So the entire Jeter Storylines team did an amazing job. And of course, I have to say, you know, my family, my friends for supporting me. You know, so thank you, everyone. Really, really happy and really proud to be part of this amazing team.
Awesome. Ash, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, just to riff off of what Efrain and Otis are saying, there was a lot of people that made this reality. I would say Jared and Otis, like, you guys took this thing from just a little thought bubble in one of your minds and managed to break it down into a beautiful wireframe, one that was unlike any that I had seen, and it really allowed for creativity to thrive, which, I mean, that in itself is a major accomplishment from the both of you guys. I mean, we worked on everything from the large scale all the way down to what words are going to be written on the posters that are inside of the artwork, you know? And so I think there's a huge pat on the back to you guys for going through from start to finish. Efrain, of course, hey, lots of endurance was shown here from putting things together that we've never done in the game and having to figure that out. You did a fantastic job communicating with everybody throughout that process, and then managing to stick with it even up till these final, you know, few weeks where we're still getting little bugs here or there, and you're still able to, you know, move forward and get them done. You know, it takes a lot. So great job. And then, you know, like Otis said, Matt and Moira, they're the other artists that I work with, and they're absolutely, I mean, incredible. Nothing that is produced from the art side ever touches one set of hands. It's always all three of us, whether we're just chatting it up or we throw things into each other's computers and kind of do a kit bash, but they did great work throughout this process as well. And lastly, I'd like to thank Derek Jeter for a fantastic 20 years and an absolutely wonderful childhood growing up watching him. So thanks, Jeter. You gave us something to work on, and I think users are going to love it. So I'll take my chance.
Yeah, I'd like to add in, I'd like to thank Derek Jeter as well. Like we're talking about.
That's good. Yeah.
Actually, you literally took words out of my script right there. I was hoping that Jared would mention it, but Jared, how about you rounding it off? Is there anyone that you want to put thanks towards?
Well, naturally, Derek Jeter, number one, right? We have. Yeah, I got just working with like so many different groups to make this mode come to life. Chris and Sydney and Jason, Ramon, and Charles Eck, Adam Strain, and all of like the Sony creative team, Luis and Steve and Kyle and Gil and Kirby, and Ben and Jordan on commentary, which is so fun to listen to as well.
No sé, Twitch, eso hay que ver.
And
Hay que ver con
Noah with the presentations, which are just like out of this world for this mode. Lauren and Adam and Justin and Alec, and then the sound dudes, Kurt, Bandy, and Monty, which kind of also like Otis said, just really kind of bringing a lot more life into this. And then Ashley Sanders and the live content team. I think I bug Ashley like once an hour with a stupid question that she just like happily answers right back to me. It's amazing. And then these three here and my my UI UX friends who are probably so sick of me and my stupid notes by now, but they put on a nice face and they answer my questions and everything. Like I said, just like super, just so thankful
eso va a
for
estar bien
our entire
spicy.
studio.
O sea, eso de que hayan metido a Bernie Williams
So appreciative and
wow.
ready for people to come and get a chance.
Podemos esperar cualquier cosa todavía.
I mean, I think we're all really excited for fans to get their hands playing cheater storylines. It's truly incredible what you all created, and
a mucha gente le pasó eso.
Clearly comes through, and fans will love it when they get their hands on it.
Los que estén en YouTube, no olviden dejar su like, importante. Vamos rumbo a los 15,000 suscriptores. Suscríbanse por ahí.
Joining us for this
en su
feature
follow ahí en
premiere.
YouTube.
Congratulations, and talk to you all
Los que
soon.
estén en Twitch, vengan para acá a YouTube.
All right, thanks, Colin.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Vamos a ver.
Such an incredible team here at San Diego Studios working in MLB The Show 24. We're also excited for fans to start their ride on the subway and play Derek Jeter storylines starting on March 19th with early access on March 15th. Head over to theshow.com to pre-order now. We hope you had fun with this feature premiere. We showed off a lot of gameplay. We showed off some new legends, including Chili Davis, Wade Boggs, Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada, and 3 new legends, including Andy Pettitte, Paul O'Neill, and Bernie Williams. Thank you to Jared, Otis, Efron, and Ashley for joining us for this week's feature premiere for MLB The Show 24. But the episodes don't stop. Tune in on March 7th for a double feature on Twitch and YouTube starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, with the return of the ratings reveal show with our good friend Robert Flores from the MLB Network. Who's starting this season as a Diamond? Tune in and find out. And stay tuned for the feature premiere that starts at 3 p.m. that same day. So it'll be a full day of ratings, gameplay and so much more for MLB The Show 24.
Eso sí lo que yo
If you
quiero
miss
ver.
any episode, go to the San Diego Studios YouTube page and check out every episode on video on demand. Remember, for the latest news on MLB The Show, follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. We're all over the place. And sign up for the Scouting Report, as monthly packs return to subscribers starting in April, along with a bunch of other cool things that we're working on. Head over to theshow.com and sign up now if you haven't already. Again, thank you to Jared, Otis, Efren, and Ash for joining us today. Thank you to Carson, Ashley, Ramon, and Tips for behind-the-scenes help. And thank you to the entire MLB The Show community for watching these feature premieres. From the control room, see you all in the next episode.
Dame algo.
Oh, wait, one more thing.
Le cambiaron el guante. ¿Qué pasó? Se frizó. La jugada. Oh, eso está bien duro para Road to the Show, me imagino, pero wow. Confirmaron cosas para Road to the Show ahí. No sé qué pensar. Realmente no sé qué pensar de eso. No sé qué pensar. Realmente no sé qué pensar de eso. No sé si eso será algo que vendrá en el juego. O sea, se podrá jugar en Diamond Dynasty. No sé. Eso está medio curioso. Nada, gente, vamos a cerrar esto aquí rapidito. Vamos para acá. Voy a bajarle el volumen a esto un poquito por si acaso. Gente, para los que llegaron ahora, puede que haga un video. No estoy 100% seguro. Hubo muchas cosas. Anunciaron a Bernie Williams, anunciaron a Paul O'Neill, anunciaron a Andy Pettit. Por lo que veo van a haber más de 9 episodios del storyline de Derek Jeter. Por lo que entendí, van a dividirlos, van a darle acceso a la gente por fechas, como que el primer season o el primer episodio va a estar hasta cierta fecha y después sacan el segundo episodio. Enseñaron un gameplay ahí al final que probablemente es algo para Road to the Show. No creo que sea para Diamond Dynasty. Confirmamos leyendas que ya estaban en el pasado como Mike Piazza, Randy Johnson. ¿Qué otro yo vi que identifiqué? Mike Piazza, Randy Johnson, Mike Maguire. No me acuerdo qué otro identificamos. Identificamos como 5 que van a volver para MLB The Show 24. El próximo feature premiere que va a ser el jueves próximo. Ken Griffey lo confirmamos, como dije Rubén ahí. El próximo feature premiere que vendría siendo... El próximo feature premiere debe ser el 29 o el marzo 7. ¡Ay! Yo les tengo que anunciar algo, a mí se me había olvidado. Que se joda, yo voy a hacer lo posible. El problema es que yo voy a estar en Arizona. No, gente, vamos a aclarar esto aquí. Yo tengo que viajar por cuestiones de trabajo el 3 de marzo hasta el 9 de marzo. So, para el próximo feature premiere, que es de gameplay, y va a ser a las 3 de la tarde Pacific Standard, va a ser a las 3 de la tarde mío cuando yo esté allá en Arizona. So, yo no voy a poder estar en live ni reaccionar en vivo, va a tener que ser por la noche. Maybe me lleve la laptop y grabe algo para darle algo de calientito. ¡Ah! Ese feature premiere no voy a poder estar, gente. Pero igual, esperen video, o sea, yo voy a sacar video definitivamente. No será solamente para el storyline de la jugada. Puede ser, pero no creo que se limiten a ponerlo solamente para un moment. Por eso no la compré, porque siempre lo vimos a este año de excepciones. Pero es que sigue siendo un juego de pelota, papi. Lamento haber visto todo después de lo de Bernie. Pienso lo mismo. Y no nos enseñaron a Bernie. No nos enseñaron a Bernie. Gente, quiero... Es que... Yo no puedo darle para atrás aquí. Déjame checar el YouTube. Vamos a ver algo rapidito. Para que quede en récord. Que... Obviamente, si yo hago un video... Déjenme... Vámonos para acá un momentito. Si yo hago un video de... Déjenme ver esto grande. Déjame ver. Permítame un segundo. Voy a tratar de pellizcarlo el momento que... Aquí. Mírenlo aquí. Déjame... Aquí que estamos viendo. Y las posiciones, por si acaso. Conozco a Wade Box. Conozco a Paul O'Neill. Conozco a Bernie Williams. Conozco a Jeter, obviamente. ¿Quiénes son estos? ¿Quién es Saunders? ¿Quién es Calderón? ¿Quién es Webb? ¿Quién es Ward? ¿Quién es Saunders? ¿Quién es Weber? Son jugadores buenos, importantes, porque con eso están diciendo que están en el juego. Por lo menos, con eso. Tengo Calderón. No creo, Rubén. No creo, definitivamente no creo. ¿Alguien me puede decirle a estos jugadores de los Yankees? Webb ya lo habían metido. ¿Quién es ese? Hasta con una Boston creo que tenía Webb. No sé cuál tú dices, en verdad. Te lo juro que no sé cuál dice. Te lo juro que no sé cuál dice. Deion Sanders. No sé, yo no sé, no lo conozco, no lo conozco. El que jugaba Jorlin Calderón. Logan Webb no puede ser. Porque este Webb es posición, juega DH, de hecho. Carlos Weber. A lo mejor escribieron mal, es que no creo. No creo que hayan escrito mal ahí a lo loco. No sé, vamos a ver si puedo ver otra cosa. Aquí no hay nada importante, ¿verdad? Aquí no hay nada importante que podamos ver. Realmente aquí no hay mucha cosa que podamos ver. Ah, mira, aquí es el momento donde confirman muchas leyendas. Miren.
Dome as a member of the Mariners fan club here at San Diego Studios with Drew, Bandy, and Jenny.
Mira, aquí.
We're all.
Espérate. Hay que hacer el mismo ejercicio aquí por si acaso. ¡Ay! No se ve. ¿Ustedes logran ver ahí? Yo creo que es el mismo line-up, ¿verdad? Buck, Wells, Calderón, Saunders. Yo creo que es el mismo line-up. No se ve bien.
Really excited.
Yo no puedo poner esto. No se ve bien.
To hear that the Kingdom is coming back to MLB The Show. Before we move a little bit further
Aquí no se ve nada.
with Jeter, are fans going to be able to play with the Kingdom in other modes within MLB The Show?
Yeah, we're bringing it back to life. In line,
Ken Griffey.
and you can use that stadium in other modes for MLB The Show 24.
Aquí está Maguire. Ese line-up no se ve nada ahí. Randy Johnson confirmado,
You
como
just
dije
made a
anteriormente.
lot of people
Maguire.
in the Pacific Northwest really happy to hear that. So, back to Jeter.
Eso es todo. Realmente eso es todo lo que hay. Eso es todo lo que hay. No sé si hago otro video. Realmente creo que puedo hacerlo, pero no sé si lo haga hoy y no sé si tenga carne para hacer algo bien brutal. Porque realmente hablaron mucho del behind the scenes de cómo trabajaron. Y las únicas noticias, Bernie Williams anunciado, Polonil anunciado, Randy Johnson confirmado, Ken Griffey Jr. confirmado, Mike Maguire confirmado, Posada confirmado, Mariano confirmado, Andy Petit confirmado nuevo, el estadio de Seattle confirmado. Ese parque, no, Pedro, es nuevo. Es nuevo ese estadio. So, el estadio nuevo confirmado. No se ve lo que dice en el subway. No se ve tampoco. Borroso. ¿Qué más? Más de 9 episodios confirmados. Solamente de Derek Jeter, Storylines y de Negro League. Eso, básicamente eso. Realmente por eso puede ser que no haga un video. Puede ser que haga post y eso, pero no sé si haga un video largo. En YouTube puede ser, porque han sido 1 hora y pico, básicamente, de información. Nada, realmente yo creo que ya esa es la información que tenemos de hoy. Permítame un segundo. Mira, cambiaron el pinpoint. Miren esto, vamos a ver, vamos a buscar un momento. Ay, se frizó la computadora. Espero que no se esté trancando tanto. Permítanme un segundo, permítanme un segundo. Habrá un momento donde enseñaron el pinpoint. Permítame. Por favor. Cambiaron el pinpoint. Un momento de picheo. Pitching moments. Vamos a ver si
do
sale.
some pitching, well-rounded.
Aquí.
experience. And that being said, you know, Andy Pettit's huge name,
Míralo.
but you're also going to see some
Ahora el pinpoint es al revés. Para los zurdos. Ahora es a los zurdos. O sea, si el pitcher es zurdo, el pinpoint está invertido.
other legends pop
¿Qué es lo que era?
up as well, and you'll have an opportunity
El par sigue siendo lo mismo. Cambiaron el pinpoint. Eso sí es confirmado.
to like earn their cards if you're pop. You know, Andy Pettit's huge name, but
Quarter, single, confidence. Sí, eso fue.
you're also
Cambiaron
going
el
to see some
pinpoint. Ahora van a hacer al revés. Yo creo que eso es todo, gente. Realmente, yo creo que eso es todo. Nada, los voy dando. Pendiente. Ay, mala mía. Yo no... Me ahogué. Perdón. Mala mía. Griten. Ustedes se quedan callados ahí.
as
Miren.
part of each pitching, well-rounded.
Miren lo del pinpoint.
And that being said,
Ustedes se quedan
you know,
callados
Andy
ahí.
Pettit's huge name, but you're
Miren. Él va a tirar, creo que un
also
single, si no me
going to
equivoco.
see some
Hay una curva, perdón. Miren el pinpoint. Está al revés para los zurdos. Si el pitcher
other
es zurdo, el
legends
pinpoint es
pop
al
up
revés
as
ahora.
well, and you'll have an opportunity
Todo
to,
el
like,
tiempo
earn their
era
cards if
derecho.
you're into that
Pues ya con eso confirmaron
as
que
well,
cuando picheas a los
and
zurdos, vas a tirar distinto. Eso está cool. Ya ahí le añades un layer de...
you'll have an
Le añades un layer de decir, picheo mejor con los zurdos o con los derechos. Eso está bien interesante.
opportunity to like earn their cards if you're into that as well.
I mean, you're just
Sí, yo creo que ahí ya lo vieron. Eso yo creo que es lo único mecánico brutal que podemos identificar que cambió. Mala mía que se les enseñó de la otra manera, es que también ustedes se quedan callados. Ahí lo tienen, corillo. Nada, gente, esperen más información en las redes. Probablemente haga un video. No me quiero comprometer a hacer un video, pero pendiente por ahí. No olviden suscribirse, activar la campanita en YouTube y los veo en la próxima, corillo. Los veo en la próxima, los quiero.